Board of Commissioners. Would all those who are willing and able please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of our country. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Grant us, O Lord, light to our understanding, prudence in our investigating, foresight in our planning, sincerity in our deliberating, the grace to follow truth in our judgment. Help us to be moved in our decision neither by fear nor by self-interest, and to do our work faithfully. May we respect the authority vested in us, for thou art the source of all authority. And may we use our directives for the common good, and for thy honor and glory. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you all. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Regovich.
Here.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Present.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Here. Okay. This brings us into our first public comment portion. Is there anyone wishing to address the board at this time? Mr. Massey. Yeah, you got your hand up before everybody else, so you get it.
Okay.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Commissioners. Brian Massey, 8196 Rainbow Drive. I was looking at the agenda items today, and one item is for the Lake County Senior Citizens Advisory Panel, and I have to admit, I don't know who they are, so I'm just wondering if you could educate me on the Senior Citizens Advisory Panel, because I'd like to introduce myself to them and find out what they do so that we can help them out if it's possible.
That's very kind of you.
Thank you very much.
Administrator Boyd.
Good morning. The Senior Citizen Advisory Panel is just that. It's an advisory panel that was created probably in 2018 or 19 by the Board of Commissioners. They have no authority as far as the levy or programs, but they are an advisory group that Aaliyah and Kristen and myself share ideas, strategies, funding recommendations to get their input. They range from, I'm trying to think of the membership and who they represent, but we have a former a mayor of West End who's also a senior, heavily involved in senior activities, a former employee of Council on Aging. I'm trying to remember, but they represent a broad cross-section of the community as it relates to senior needs and services. They meet on a quarterly basis. They are publicly notified, meetings, minutes, etc. They meet right back here. I think it's on Tuesdays at 2 o'clock, so we'd be happy to get you more information on that.
Thank you, Brian.
Sure.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. Ma'am, I believe you. Actually, the gal behind you, I think you had your hand up?
Okay.
Yes. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
You're in a perfect line of sight, so.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Margaret Bushman, 5357 Ford Road, which has been closed for 398 days. And they are still working on Blair Road, which is our major exit out of the west end of Ford Road. And while I'm glad they're working on maintaining Blair Road, it's still a concern that if and when the rains come and it closes, we're stuck. So 398 days. And something should have been addressed at Ford Road 360 days ago or longer. So I'm hoping that something happens. I know last week they talked about maybe declaring it an emergency. I think it should have been declared an emergency 397 days ago. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else wishing to address the board?
Yes.
There you go.
Hello, everyone. I'm Anna Raklina, and I am the owner of the property located at 34460 Beach Park Avenue, Eastlake, Ohio. I bought my property in 2019 as a multifamily property. I've been trying to sell this property this year. However, I'm having difficulties because the zoning department in city of Eastlake saying it's a single family home. However, the previous owner bought this property as a multifamily. So all we need to do to fix this issue is to get legal certificate of non-conforming use to close on the property. But they are not working with us, the city of Eastlake not wanting to work with us. the county auditor's website saying that this property has been multifamily since 1995. So I'm not sure what it is, and I feel like my rights are being discriminated, the property rights, and also my rights as an individual. I'm a naturalized citizen, and I came from Russia back in 2003. I work hard. I work for the Cuyahoga County Court as a probation officer for years, and I saved the money. I used the pension to buy this property, but I cannot sell this property now. I feel like I'm being discriminated. So you are my last resort, and hopefully you can help me to do that.
I'm going to look to legal. I don't think we have any official capacity in this, but as a professional courtesy and assisting a constituent, I think it'd be appropriate for us to be able to make some phone calls and see what the status is. And as Paul Harvey would say, the rest of the story.
Well, Commissioner, as you know, our office does not represent the city of Eastlake, so I can't certainly advise Eastlake
But you do represent
as
us,
to what
so.
to do. And I also, we only have statutory clients. I can't represent a private citizen. So I don't think it would be appropriate for me to comment on this issue at this point.
Well, I guess my one question to you as your client, would I be stepping on a landmine if I or one of my colleagues called Mayor Morley and said, Mayor, can you help us out here? What's going on? We had a constituent come to our meeting. Would that be out of bounds? And I just limit your response only to that.
Yeah, Commissioner, I don't think there's a legal issue with whether or not you choose to contact another elected official and discuss something with them regarding a citizen complaint.
Thank you, ma'am. And could you possibly leave your contact information or stay for the end? And
Yes.
Jennifer Bell or Kathy Russo in the back. Kathy, could you kind of give her the high sign? Kathy's available now. Get your contact information.
Okay.
And again, I want to manage expectations. This would be a professional courtesy phone call. We have no authority whatsoever over the city of Eastlake. But if there's something that, we might be able to say, hey, we looked at this, or you thought about that, we might be able to encourage, that little moment of the light coming on.
Yes.
If that's acceptable to you?
Yes.
Gentlemen, you okay with one or all of us making some inquiries?
Thank you.
Okay, and
Thank you.
Kathy will get your contact information.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Appreciate it. Again, we also need the address of that property too, so we can work with you on that. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, anyone else? Hello, Terry, come on up.
I know you're thrilled to see her.
On so many levels. Good morning.
Terry Jarrett, Ditch Creek, Fiscal Officer at Madison Township. I just want to say a few things about the situation on Ford Road. We do know that you approved Williams and last week Payne. You're already talking about Blair, which if that goes out, we're really stuck. But as an elected official myself, I was a trustee for 8 years. I've been a fiscal officer for almost 15 years. And one of the things that I've always worked hard at was making sure that out of the tax dollars that our residents paid us, that we gave them back as much as we possibly could for their dollars. And there's lots of times where something's not the same in my heart, but I have to think about other people besides me. And for us, in police and fire, we spend a lot of money supporting those two agencies, and they do a wonderful job. But I've been told by the EMTs, 3 minutes, 4 minutes to get to a resident, whether it's fire or police, is a matter of life and death. So it's not a political thing at all. All it is safety. And we can't fix it. The other part that's not fair is that there's 2 other communities, which, yes, we have mutual aid, but it's not fair for their residents to pay the cost of all the call-outs that they get because we can't get there. So I'm begging you to please, 2 more years, and the winters that we get out in South Madison are unbelievable. The school buses have to turn around. There's so many safety factors that please try to find a way to get us on there. It really hurts everybody. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank
Anyone else wishing to address the board? Anyone else wishing to address the board at this time? Okay. This concludes our first public comment portion. Madam Clerk, first agenda item, please.
And special resolutions, resolution proclaiming September 15th through October 15th, 2023 as Hispanic Heritage Month in Lake County, Ohio.
Move to approve.
Discussion.
Second.
There you go. Well, we got Corey. I believe we have Veronica here with us. Do you guys want to vote on it? I was going to say we're kind of in that comment period. I don't know.
We can.
You want to give your spiel, or you want to say thank you for approving?
To me?
Why don't we vote
Yeah.
it through first?
There
Because you
you
can't
go.
thank you for what may or may not occur.
Well, I was kind of hoping there might be lobbying on behalf of thank you. But anyway, with that, Madam Clerk, roll call, please. Let's just
Commissioner
begin.
Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes. Now the microphone is yours.
Do it.
Good morning, Commissioners. I just want to thank the Commissioners for the resolution for proclaiming September 15th through October 15th National Hispanic Heritage Month. Veronica recently did an episode of a podcast on North Coast careers and explained about all the wonderful services and the collaborations that the Workforce Board, Ohio Means Jobs, Lake County, and OLA are working together to achieve. And so just wanted to thank the board for this resolution. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. Ma'am?
Thank you so much, Commissioners, for this incredible moment. I really appreciate it. It's so nice to be here with Corey. Thank you, and Matt, and Reverend Murbell. And I have with me Gladys Figueroa of the Prosecutor's Office, who is in OLA with me. But I just wanted to say a few words about Hispanic Heritage Month and our Hispanic community here, if I can. You know, when I think about the Hispanic community in Lake County, I'm often in awe of what they have been through and what they have accomplished. You know, every morning before dawn, they're up and about and they're heading out to their manufacturing jobs and to the nursery jobs and landscaping and their businesses and working really hard to, I guess, support their families. And I just admire so much what our community has become. They've grown so much. And, you know, on weekends you see those same workers putting on their mariachi regalia and picking up their guitars and their trumpets and accordions, and they're heading out to the quinceañeras, and they're bringing their music all over Ohio, music that arose out of the Lake County Hispanic community, which is in demand everywhere. Not to mention the food at the restaurants, of which we have so many here. And I just relate to them because I too am the daughter of immigrants, and we all have an immigrant story. My father being born and raised in Hungary, and I just like to tell about my parents because it was so much a part of who I am. And he obviously had to flee his country because of the turmoil of World War II, and he was a displaced person in a displaced person camp in Austria and took an immigrant ship to Venezuela, became a Venezuelan citizen, then met my mom in Mexico, and they became U.S. citizens here. So I owe so much of what I do to them. The OLA Hispanic Community Center supports education, health, mental health, financial stability through employment, and we support we celebrate our Hispanic culture there, and we can only do it through the partnerships that we have, such as with Ohio Means Jobs and so many others. So I'm very proud to be here today. I thank you so much for this. I was just informed a few days ago that I'm being inducted into the Ohio Civil Rights Hall of Fame, and I just think of it as another stepping stone in my very long journey that started with my grandparents in Mexico and in Hungary, and here I am in Lake County. To be honest, I'm a little out of my league when I look at who's on the list for this year, but you know, again, it's just part of the journey that we all have if we look into our histories. So thank you so much for this opportunity.
Excellent. Thank you. Also, all I'm going to say to you is the anchor man. So Neil Stein, Visitors Bureau anchorman. Suzanne, anything you want to add from Job and Family Services perspective?
I would just express my gratitude to the Ohio Means Jobs Lake County team, Corey and all of his great staff, that they were able to connect with Veronica at OLA. Very grateful that we were able to take this first step towards working together. I am also looking forward to working more closely with Veronica to determine how Job and Family Services can continue that partnership. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, ma'am. Neil, you're the anchor man.
Well, we probably should have saved Veronica for last, but Neil Stein from the Lake County Visitors Bureau.
You can brag about her now.
I know. So I actually have worked with Veronica in my previous life at the Captains, and obviously now at the Visitors Bureau. At the Captains, we were one of the first minor league baseball teams. Minor league baseball was one of the first people to reach out to the Hispanic community. So many players come from Hispanic, Latin American countries, and we wanted, the teams to look and feel like those communities. So we actually worked with Veronica and Ola probably 4 years ago now, maybe more than that, to come up with the Picantes de Lake County. So that was something we were super proud of, and they are continuing today, and they changed jerseys, and it's amazing celebrations that they do with the Captains. In my current job, we've worked with Veronica a little bit on some of the Ola openings. We've talked about doing some stuff with their Cinco de Mayo festival that they did this past year, which was amazing. Excuse me. And then from a travel tourism perspective, a lot of us, when we travel, we want to go someplace local when you go somewhere out of town. So, several years ago before COVID, we talked about, hey, what do we have here in Lake County to celebrate that's different, that's unique for food? And we kept coming back to all the Mexican restaurants we have here. So again, we talked to the city of Paynesville, we talked to Veronica, put together our fun taco trail. And when we started it, we thought we'd maybe have 10 or 12 restaurants, not doing the whole survey. And we ended up figuring out there's 22 different Mexican restaurants here in the county, from Eastlake to Madison. And we started this taco trail. We've got almost 1,500 people that have signed up for it. We have 225 people that have been to 3 or more restaurants, 120 that have been 5 or more, 48 people that have been to 10 or more restaurants. So part of that is we want people to get outside of their comfort zone of their 1 or 2 restaurants they always go to. And part of the things that we've learned going through this is it's a tough job, but we got to go eat tacos at these places sometimes. So we've been to all of these places, and the one common thing we found at every single place is the people are so welcoming. They're so friendly, on top of the amazing food. But we talk about the people at these places as much as we do the food and the unique opportunities. So it's something we've been super proud to kind of kick off to try to get more people to go to some of these small businesses that maybe don't have resources and marketing backgrounds. So to try to promote that. So we're really excited. We're really thankful about the recognition for Hispanic Heritage Month, and we will continue to support Ola and any events, different things that go on in the county for those people in that community. So thank you guys for having us today.
Excellent. Commissioner Regovich, anything you want to add? I believe you have the resolution bear before you. Commissioner Pleshik, I think you got a copy. Which one of you feels like the best reading voice this morning?
Mr. President, the Lake County Board of Commissioners have adopted a resolution proclaiming September 15th through October 15th as Hispanic Heritage Month in Lake County, Ohio. Whereas the observation of Hispanic Week began under President Lyndon Johnson and was expanded by President Ronald Reagan in 1988 to cover a 30-day period starting on September 15th and ending on October 15th. Whereas September 15 is significant because it is the anniversary of independence for Latin American countries, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, and Nicaragua. In addition, Mexico and Chile celebrate their Independence Days on September 16th and September 18th, respectively. And whereas the month-long celebration recognizes the valuable contributions made by residents of Hispanic descent to all aspects of American life, including leadership and public service, business, the arts, education, and civil rights. And whereas the theme for this year's observance is prosperity, power, and progress, recognizing the significant achievements of the Hispanic community in economic, social, and political industries. And whereas the Hispanic community has had a profound influence on Lake County through their commitment to family, faith, hard work, and service. And they have enhanced and shaped our national heritage with centuries of old traditions that reflect the multi-ethnic and multicultural customs of their community. And whereas the Lake County Board of Commissioners encourages all members of the community to celebrate 2023 Hispanic Heritage Month by attending a diverse array of events that reflect the rich tapestry of Hispanic cultures. These celebrations include parades, enlightening art exhibitions, concerts, and traditional Hispanic food fairs. These gatherings provide an opportunity for Lake County to come together, fostering cultural understanding and appreciation and highlighting the contributions of Hispanics in our local community. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of County Commissioners in and for Lake County, Ohio, hereby proclaims September 15th through October 15th as Hispanic Heritage Month in Lake County, Ohio.
Very good. Thank you. Boy. And as we always like to say, well, it's not official until the pictures are taken, so come on up and join us.
We're going to need help holding all these.
Neil, how are you? Might as well come on up. Neil's saying no. Come on.
One more. Most congratulations.
Absolutely, it was my pleasure. Hey, Neil, hold up. I think you get one. Thank you all. Very good. Madam Clerk, next item, please.
In the Utilities Department, resolution approving plan specifications and estimates of cost in the amount of $4,536,400 for Arcola Creek Bennett Road Sanitary Improvement Phase 2 project, number 454S, 2021, and advertising for bids for the same, bid opening October 25th, 2023.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Randy, you want to give a little context to this one?
Yes, thank you, Commissioner. This is the final piece of the puzzle to connect the Madison wastewater treatment plant to our Lake County Cashin Road wastewater treatment plant. We're starting construction on the at Bennett Road in Chapel, probably within the next week or so, and then this one will follow that project. And then once that's this project is completed, then we will that the agreement that we have with Madison Village to take over their and operate their water and sewer systems will go into effect. So this is that final piece.
And then once this final piece is in place, then the decommissioning of the current facility in Madison Village takes place at some point?
Correct.
And then along with that is the total transfer of both water and sewer from Madison Village to Lake County Department of Utilities?
That's correct, yeah. All the customers in Madison Village will become Lake County utilities customers for water and sewer.
And oversight and maintenance, again, that's again the background. This last piece checks off all the boxes. Finalizes the agreement.
Yes, it will. We're still quite a ways away. We're just advertising for bids now, so we're still probably 8 or 10 months away from that happening. But we look forward to that being completed. It's been a long process.
Oh, it most certainly has. I think I was still on council when we were talking about this. So.
Yes, you were.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Mr. President?
Sir.
Two things. First, I want to thank Randy for his hard work in helping us to make this historic investment in Madison. And second, on a more practical note, for seniors who are becoming Lake County Department of Utilities customers, they would now be eligible, assuming they meet the income requirements, for the 25% discount. So I hope that as we work to take those new customers onto our system, we also make them aware that they're also eligible for this discount too.
Absolutely, yep.
Very good. If there's nothing further, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution accepting a 3-year maintenance bond in the amount of $22,007.70 for Capitol Parkway Sanitary Sewer Extension Job Number 22-42 in Concord Township.
Move to approve.
Second. Discussion. None being heard, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution providing for a $330,000 note renewal for the Lake County Department of Utilities, Project 408-S.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. None being heard, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution providing for $1,500,000 note renewal for the Lake County Department of Utilities, Project 336-S.
Move to approve.
Second. Discussion. None being heard, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution authorizing execution of a contract with Cummins Sales and Service procured through Sourcewell on behalf of the Lake County Department of Utilities for the purchase of a commercial diesel generator for the Red Creek Pump Station in conjunction with the Red Creek Sanitary Sewer Project 280S in an amount not to exceed $51,082.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Randy, I know this is kind of obvious, but if you'd give us a little history on that one as well.
Sure, this is our Red Creek Sewer project that we've been talking about, again, for several years. We're getting close to advertising the project for bid. We have found that we are able to get, through this national bidding service, Sourcewell, we're able to get a better price through that than a contractor is for a piece of equipment like this. So we opted to go ahead and purchase this equipment through that bidding process as opposed to making it part of the advertised bid.
Excellent. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
There's nothing further. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution to delete a sewer sum and associated administrative fees certified to the Lake County Auditor.
Move to approve.
Second. Discussion. None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution to delete a water sum and associated administrative fees certified to the Lake County Auditor.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
In Job and Family Services Department, resolution approving the Lake County Department of Job and Family Services vouchers, date of warrant October 6, 2023, in the amount of $104,657.11.
Move to approve.
Second. Discussion. None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
In the Commissioner's Office, resolution reappointing Thomas Strayer to the Lake County Senior Citizen Advisory Panel for a 3-year term ending September 30th, 2026.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution reappointing Lisa Manning to the Lake County Senior Citizen Advisory Panel for a 3-year term ending September 30th, 2026.
Move to approve.
Second. Discussion.
Mr. President,
Sir.
I would just say in respect to both former Mayor Thomas Strayer and Lisa Manning, we're very grateful for their continued service on the Senior Advisory Panel. As our county administrator explained, being stewards of the senior levy is one of the most important roles that our county commission has, but we can't do that job well without significant impact and input from our senior community, because ultimately this levy is for them. and to make sure that we're using it best for our senior centers, for council on aging, and for all the other services the county provides, we need that constant input. This is not a paid position. There are no rewards beyond knowing you've done a good deed for your neighbors, and so we're very grateful to the former mayor and to Lisa for being willing to continue in this very important role.
Mr. Ragovich?
I wholeheartedly agree. Lisa does so much for the county and in the county. Same with former Mayor Tom Dreher, who I've gotten to know over the years, although he was mayor when I was very young. Yeah, he's been a vital part, and he has no qualms about taking me to task as when I was the mayor of how we're spending those funds, and we're just so fortunate to have people willing to give back in our county.
There you go, and I'll just add to that. Brian, Lisa, Brian, you two should talk after the meeting in regards to. There you go. All right, if there's nothing further, and she's such a good sport, that big smile. Thank you. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Ragovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution authorizing execution of agreements between the Lake County Board of Commissioners and Fair Housing Resource Center Incorporated for Home Investment Partnership Program funds.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Ragovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
In the Finance Department, resolution approving payment of bills as listed on the Commissioner's Approval Journal in the amount of $1,944,750.32.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Ragovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution approving purchase orders as listed on the Commissioner's Purchase Order Approval Journal in the amount of $1,508,004.23.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Ragovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution increasing appropriations for various non-general fund accounts.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Ragovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution making a cash advance and transferring cash and appropriations within various general and non-general fund accounts.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Ragovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes. All right, moving on to our departmental reports. Utilities.
And no report today, Commissioner.
Thank you. Job and Family Services.
No report today. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you. County Administrator.
Good morning once again. A brief Public Safety Center update. A couple commissioners, myself, the sheriff and his team, Paul Stefanko and Mark Eifelis visited Wayne County, Michigan yesterday, which is essentially the Detroit area, to visit their Public Safety Center. I thought it was a very valuable trip to see the good, the bad, what works for them, how it would apply or may not apply to what the county is contemplating. It's an enormous facility there. I think they have pushing 1,800 inmates. Our proposed design calls for 504 inmates, if I recall. We had some of our engineers were there on site. The project foreman for the contractor joined us. I can defer to Commissioners Hammercheck and Ragovich for their comments, to the sheriff, but I took a lot of positives from the meeting, from the Sally Port to the mechanical rooms, a lot of the things you've heard Paul and Mark talk about as far as maintaining the current building and how the designs, the current day designs will make their jobs much easier, make that facility run more efficient and effectively for the long term. So that was our first field trip. We may hit another one, maybe two, depending on the desires of the group. We will have our third kind of intense planning and design meeting next Wednesday. We continue to proceed down the path to bring the design build team on board by the end of October. So with that, I'll answer any questions.
I would actually say, Sheriff, did you want to add anything to the discussion? This was as much for you as it was for the people of Lake County. Did you want to add anything, sir, to the visit? I think Jason summed up quite a bit there. I can say that, Commissioner Ragovich, I think it's fair to say that we saw Great deal.
We, it's over a million square foot facility.
Yeah.
My hip hurt when we were done. But it was enlightening in my eyes to see the sheriff and his team look at things that were there and take care of things that, you know, I don't like this, I do like this, and to have that architect on site to be able to take those notes and to regroup later, as well as the rest of our team from Lake County. You know, I think I can speak for Commissioner Hammercheck. We kind of geeked out on, boy, look at the access to plumbing, to electrical, the things we don't have now, and how a modern facility runs, how efficient it runs, how you don't intermingle prisoners, and how it's one way in, one way out, and those things that you know, have come a long way in the time we've seen a jail built. So those kind of things, I mean, I was blown away in the kitchen myself.
I don't think people understand who haven't been in the current facility, the kitchen, the laundry facilities, the medical facilities that we have today. I don't even know how to compare them. You can't. And then I think the takeaway, I heard the sheriff's team talking, the employee wellness and variables from paint color to light to make those folks who are in corrections division, for example, feel more at home when they walk into a break room that have a different flooring than the standard 6x6x6 tiles. There's just a lot of things that go to the employee wellness, and I think I know the sheriff is going to take seriously paint tones and all that sort of stuff. So it was a refresher, and I think it was well worth it. And I'm looking forward to. We're hitting all of our marks right now. So I want to thank everybody for that. It's just going to keep going quicker and quicker.
I think it's fair to point out that the compare and contrast of what we're contemplating versus that facility, direct versus indirect supervision, the sheriff and his team's sensitivity to having minimum staffing, fewer people doing more. To your point, if we're asking people to do more, give them an environment where it's not a life sentence working in that facility, that it is a pleasant place to come and go to. I know that might sound a little contradictory being an adult detention facility, but the sheriff's adherence to keeping the staffing properly sized for maximum efficiency is a real contrast to what we saw.
Yeah.
They were focusing, well, I don't know that I would say focusing. They seem to be more open to the direct supervision, more traditional, more incarceration model, which we have tried very definitely to avoid intensity. Because again, if you take a look at the price of an employee over the life of the facility, there's where your cost savings is.
Yeah, that was the Wayne County decision, and we're going the other way. And I lost my train of thought.
I think the population that we serve is quite different than that Wayne County. We were literally in downtown Detroit.
Yeah.
But the efficiencies that were built in, and the only thing I could take away is their sheriff and the humble office that he had. But I'm sure it was enlightening to me to actually see and touch and feel, not on a drawing, not on a concept.
From a scale perspective, that jail facility has 2,308 camera views. I think we have 465 in the entire county right now, and I feel like there's a ton of cameras in this building. They have 2,308 cameras in that building, so I'll defer to the sheriff.
That's great, and I also want to comment though on some of the construction methods and the so-called value engineering. They made several of the mistakes that we have had to live with, deleting floor drains.
Well, they made a value engineering decision. We'll see if it ends up being a mistake. Because when you talk to some of the other folks that the controlled by the officers, the plumbing, they can be shut off, etc. That was my initial reaction too. I guess time will tell. I know the direction that we're going on those topics, but
that water's got to go somewhere before it gets shut off.
Correct.
There's no drain. Water finds a way.
Yes.
In the trades, we say water always wins.
It does.
So I just also want to talk about some of the, there was an awful lot of pre-manufactured parts that were brought in. So it's kind of like a giant erector set. And there were several indications where the perceived cost savings, there was a cost in quality of workmanship, the misalignments, the generous use of caulking to seal in between gaps. the cracking in the concrete that was routed out and epoxied in. So there were a lot of things that were indicators of, just looking at a building that has not even yet been occupied, showing stresses and strains before it's even commissioned. And I'm so pleased though that our sheriff and his team are taking this so seriously of let's get the highest quality product at the best price. And from a value engineering perspective, it's being engineered by engineers and professionals who are actually using it and not accountants. That's what bothers me when you have a building designed by accountants. So, Sheriff, did you want to add anything, sir? Good morning, sir.
Good morning. I guess my one takeaway is the sheriff's office did have a shower and a bathroom and a coffee area, and I think that's what we need today. Thank you.
You forgot the private elevator? Yes, the sheriff actually has a private elevator. And that's Detroit, not our sheriff, just to be clear for anybody watching.
And a good view.
I think it's important people understand what we're trying to look at, and it's not only the cost of building the facility, but operational. There are various jails that have been built and never opened because the cost of operations is too great. And so we're looking at as much as being staff neutral. For instance, if you add 15 officers to the roster to do direct supervision, that's about $40 million over 30 years. We're not doing that. We need to reduce, not reduce staffing, but stay staff neutral in how we approach it. Also, we're looking at jail facilities to be more welcoming to the public, because that's where they come to the sheriff's office, to probation, to deal with public documents. We're looking at creating a jail facility because the majority of people that come to a county jail are residents who stay and return to the county. We want to return people back to society better than when they first arrived. So drug and alcohol treatment, medical programs to get them better to return to society and to be productive in our community. And so that's what we're taking away from these. We don't want the big city element, and there is certainly a different way to house 3,000 inmates at one time versus 500, but we're looking at those models to see what we can take away. So, thank you.
And just one observation in context, the configuration of the facility we looked at versus what we're talking, although 46% of those in our jail are non-Lake County residents, just to be clear, 46% of crime is non-Lake County folk. The same level of care, treatment, and opportunity is being offered to all. So reduction in recidivism, although you come to Lake County, commit a crime, you're going to be treated fairly, and services will be provided to hopefully get on the right track and re-enter society and be a productive member. So again, there's a lot of lessons I think that we have seen applied at this facility. In fact, by way of background, this facility was replacing one that was actually abandoned. I think they got to a 30% completion, spent upwards, I think it was almost $50 million, and abandoned the project because it was a dead-end project. So there's a lot of inefficiencies that go on in other places. So although we're being very methodical, there are very good reasons why we're being so methodical. Anyway, thank you, Jason, for bringing that up. Madam Clerk, you're up.
The next commissioners meeting is going to be next Thursday, October 5th at 10 a.m. here in Chambers.
Thank you, ma'am. Legal.
No report.
Thank you, ma'am. Engineering.
We are meeting.
I don't think your mic's on, sir.
You're right. Well, we're meeting Monday with Great Lakes for the pre-con on Williams, and they are scheduled to be in working the second week of October.
Very good. Thank you. All right, moving on to old business. Do you have any old business? Any old business? Hearing none. Moving on to new business. Any new business?
Mr. President,
Sir.
I would just share a congratulations to Lake County Treasurer Mike Zern and his wife Amy on their 20th wedding anniversary. Their relationship is still new.
Yay. Very good. Thank you, sir. Did they get a certificate, by the way?
Not yet.
Not yet.
He gave himself one.
Oh, it looks kill. Thank you, Jennifer. Hi. Oh, my. All right. Any other new business? All right. Thank you. Moving on to our second public comment portion. Anyone wishing to address the board at this time? Ma'am. Ladies first. Yes, ma'am. Sorry, Brian. She beat you to the draw.
Good morning, Gilda Spencer, 5580 Ford Road, Madison, Ohio. Okay, I want to remind you of the things that I don't have. I don't have ambulance service because we have to go so far and those take so long to get there. And if you were using Madison, I have a fully staffed fire department and rescue. If you have to come now and Perry's busy, they're the only ones that I know that are fully staffed. If you go to Leroy, they have one fully staffed person and then they have to get everybody else to come in. Thompson is completely volunteer. So there's nobody really quick to get to us. And I want to remind you that we have a children's home on our road that is for critical and severely impacted children. So time for her, seconds matter, minutes matter. So that's the other thing. Then I don't have police service. When I called the township, they didn't have a cruiser to come out. So then when I called the sheriff's department, they don't come out because we have a township. So then nobody would come out. And that truck blocked our road for 4 hours. My husband has a home health care aide who couldn't get to her next job, who had to sit there and wait those 4 hours to get out. The other lady had children in at the preschool in North Madison. She couldn't get down there to get them. So she ended up getting fined for that because it was beyond the time. So those are some of the things that we don't have. And then the other thing is that when you come down our road, it's so isolated anymore. It's hard to get out. Yes, they're working on Blair Hill, and yes, I appreciate that. But if we get a really bad storm again, there may not be a Blair Hill. So then you're going to have to go to Payne, and you're going to have to go to up Trask. You know, those roads out there were single horse carriage roads, most of them. They're not much wider. They do 2 lanes, but in the wintertime, they suck. That's all there is to it. They just absolutely suck. And you can go down Blair Hill, even if it's plowed, and put your brakes on and just slide. And I appreciate this. You dug the ditches out. So now when I slide, I got a place to go. So having said that, and I was under the impression last week that we were going to vote on Ford Road this week because the engineer had a $10 million budget. He's using 5 for Williams and Payne. So I thought we were voting on Ford today. Did I misunderstand that? Hello? I mean, that was the impression I got. And if we aren't, then why aren't we? Because if all this time we've been coming, it's, well, you need the money. We have to know we have the money. Well, he has the money. So why aren't you moving?
Actually, ma'am, just to be abundantly clear, he does not have the money.
Okay.
We, the Board of Commissioners, have the money.
Okay.
And it needs to be transferred to the engineer for availability, to be clear.
Okay, I get that.
It takes 2 votes to do that.
Okay, and I don't have 2 votes, I take it? So then my next thing to you is, my daughter lives in Willoughby Hills off of Rogers Road. And I have tried very hard to find out if Rogers Road is a county road, and my understanding that it isn't. And how lucky for her, because guess what? They're fixing her bridge. And it's going to be closed for just a few weeks. She didn't have to worry about the commissioners. Of course, I forget, you're from Willoughby, and that may be part of it. So, but thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to address the board? Mr. Massey?
Again, Brian Massey, 8196 Rainbow Drive, on behalf of Lobbyists for Citizens. We have been following the Lake Tran financial statements for quite some time, and several months ago, we did address the Lake Tran board and basically asked them to rescind the 0.25% sales tax that was passed by the citizens in 2019, I believe. And the reason that we asked for that was they had changed the deal as far as the service that they were providing with that sales tax. And Lake Tran had a meeting this week, and they had their attorney, Mr. Brandon Dines, look into the possibility of rescinding the sales tax. And what we were told is that in order to rescind the sales tax, there must be a petition placed on the ballot and a vote of the people in order to rescind the tax. It would take about approximately 10,000 signatures on the petition to get it on the ballot. I did reach out to Mr. Capel. Mr. Capel said that the board at this time does not feel that trying to get a 10,000 signatures is a possibility for them. At that point, I offered Lobbyists for Citizens help in getting 10,000 signatures on the petition, so that we could get it on the ballot for the vote of the people. But it doesn't seem like the board is interested. We were always concerned that we kept seeing, increasing cash balances. They were up to, over $50 million at one point. They're down with the new offices they're building. I guess they're down to about 25. They feel that they probably only need about, $4 million in operating just in cash balances. So what they have decided to do is try to find other services that they can provide to spend the money, such as maybe getting a bus to the airport, or going back to the old same-day dial-a-ride services that they promised the people, back in 2019. We made the suggestion that you may want to offer some free. I'm interested in getting the money back to the taxpayers in any way, shape, or form that we can, and I suggested that you may want to offer some free rides for a while until you can get that, spend that $20 million in reduced fares to the people. Mr. Capel said that he would certainly mention that to the board, but he made no. When I did listen to their meeting, the board member, Mr. Sheets, I believe, did say that it was a bit frustrating that there's over $20 million sitting in the Lake Tran funds, not being used, and trying to find services to use the money when we've got other severe needs throughout the county. But I just mentioned it to the commissioners, so they're not going to reduce the sales tax, and it appears they're not even going to, I'm not sure they can, just decline to accept the tax. So it's sort of a frustrating point, but I just wanted to mention to the commissioners how we have been involved. Thank you very much.
Anyone else wishing to address the board? Ma'am, yeah. Thank you.
Hello, Margaret Bushman, 5357 Ford Road. How close are we to getting some firm commitment to make the repairs to the Ford Road Bridge culvert? Are we close at all?
You have my commitment to do it. I'll let my colleagues speak for themselves.
How far along is the engineer's office?
Takes money, ma'am, to do things.
The engineer's office is still moving forward. We are in the process of, the design phase, and we're looking forward to those things, that phase being completed right after the first of the year, so that we can move forward with bidding after that, if and when the funds become available. So my office has never stopped. We've been on this since day one and moving it forward. Maybe not as fast as other people would like, but we also have a multitude of other things to do, including looking for employees, which we're grossly short of.
I understand that, and I agree that you're not moving as fast as a lot of people would like you to. But being in that situation, as Gilda mentioned, that, we don't have ready access to any of the emergency services, and the road is not repaired. And while we appreciate the fact that they're working on Blair Road almost daily, I think the past week I went on Blair Road 3 or 4 days where they weren't working on it, but then again, they're back working on it today. And I understand your commitment to try to keep Blair Road open, and I appreciate that greatly. But I don't think I'm getting my money's worth for the property taxes that my family pays on the property that we own on Ford Road. And it's just so disheartening to come every week and beg for something to be done about it. And now you're saying that you're not going to have your plans finalized until the first of the year, which means it's going to be another winter, and they're forecasting a bad, snowy winter. It's just unacceptable. And I'm just almost ready to cry in public, on YouTube, because we're not getting any visible progress on a road that closed months before Williams Road closed, which is an easier thing to fix. Shortly after Payne Road closed, which is a complicated thing but not as complicated as Ford Road. It's just, I'm tired of hearing that. Excuse after excuse after excuse. And once you put it out for bid, how long is it going to take to fix Ford Road? We probably can't answer that question today because we don't know exactly what's going to be involved. It's been 398 days already. I'm a broken record. And it's going to be at least another year at best. I can't say anymore.
Thank you. Terry?
I just have one more thing to say. Is it going to take a house burning down to the ground or one death before you guys put some importance on Ford Road? Try to think about that.
Thank you. Mayor?
Morning, Commissioners. John Marr, 39 Minnewawa Drive, Timberlake. I guess when I did my field trip, some things that came to mind, some observations I made is like, okay, we fixed the road, but how do we prevent this from happening again? And what about our other roads and bridges? Will they fail also? And the thing is, I'm looking at it and I'm looking at the rest of the road there, and I'm noticing a lot of longitudinal cracks along the berm. And these roads, as you know, are winding roads. up and down hills, and they're on a lot of supers, the roads, okay? That's when you have an incline and it's tilted. So what ends up happening is, you know, there's H20, HS20 loading that everything's rated at. And these are basically 16,000 or 32,000 pounds per axle live load, and also 16,000 pounds per wheel. Now, when you've got a truck that's carrying a normal legal load, okay, that's great when it's on level terrain. But when you get on a super, all that load gets transferred. You have a point load now on one set of wheels. And when you have an overloaded truck, which a lot of these contractors are overloading their trucks because we have no weight scales out there checking these trucks. And you can see them driving down the road, they're way overloaded, and what's happening is these trucks are going up and down these roads that were not built for H20, HS20 loading, number one. Number two, you're putting point loads on the edge of the berms, which is going to cause failure. And that's what's mainly the failure, I believe, on Williams Road and Payne Road was caused from large overloaded trucks driving on those roads, negotiating those curves and turns and those super curves and so forth and slopes, and basically putting all the point load on those berms and causing that to sink and fail. Okay, so we could fix Ford or Williams Road, Payne Road, where the areas of failure are, but what about 100 feet up where you've got those longitudinal cracks already forming, where you got other areas ready to fail also? If we allow these trucks to continue on our county roads, destroying our county roads, we're not going to have enough money. I mean, right now we're at, what, 2 bridges a year that are failing? What's going to be next year? Another 2? What's going to be the next year? I mean, at this rate, we had a $70 million budget. We can't get another extra $10 million to cover these bridges every year in repairs. I mean, where are we going to get it from? So all I'm saying is, you know, it was talked about also finding some of the money under emergency. And again, where are we going to get that at, the emergency money? But I do believe, still believe, okay, Ford Road was destroyed, first of all, from overloaded trucks. And I believe that it could be fixed under emergency, repaired enough to get at least traffic, not truck traffic, but you put no trucks allowed, but put pedestrian or regular automobile traffic on it. People just let them get in and out, get to school, get to work, and so forth. Even a fire squad, a police car can drive over those very safely. I mean, they're not going to collapse tomorrow. And again, I would still say, looking at it under emergency, I think under the conditions, I mean, let's face it, if we do go out to bid next spring, it's not going to get built right away. And again, we're looking at 2025, maybe 2026 before it gets completed. I mean, where do we end? I mean, the thing is that we could maybe get it looked at and get it under emergency, repaired and temporary. I mean, it's been there 150 years, Ford Road. I'm sure we can get maybe another 10, 20 years out of it if we do a fix. I believe the repairs that were made before, again, were not made, they were just not the correct repairs at that time. And again, I know the wing wall that was told that it was keyed in. Well, I'm sorry, it wasn't keyed in enough. If we key that wing wall in and repair it and repair that and grout underneath all those areas, and again, keep truck traffic off, just open it up for local traffic only, you know, that would be a quick fix, and again, get people safely. This way we can get emergency vehicles and get everything to these residents and less convenience. Again, it'd be great to have a new bridge, but then again, every bridge that fails, are we going to just look at replacing it and then shutting the road down until we can find money and then find a way and then even design it? I mean, this should have been designed a year ago, over a year ago, obviously. Should have been working on. And again, should have been done by now. Okay, everything. And again, I know it was brought up, an option was looked at doing repairs, but they're saying that if we do repairs, we're going to have to take them back out. But at this point, we're talking it's a safety issue. It really is a safety issue. I've been coming here for months and months now and hearing about it, and that's when the fire department comes here and talks about it's a safety issue for EMS and fire department trucks, and then again, every week, the residents are coming here. And honestly, they're not going to stop. I don't blame them. I would too either, because again, this is not acceptable. And if we don't have the money, you know, we don't buy a new car if the transmission goes on our car. Even if we replaced it 5 times, replace it a 6th time if we don't have the money to buy a new car. I know we fixed Ford Road many times. What's one more time to fix it and open the road up? It's not going to take years, that's for sure, to fix that road and open it up. In my mind, a couple of months, have it done. Do it under emergency. You can have it open before this winter. And we could find emergency money to do something like that. And again, I believe on Williams and Payne and all the roads. Blair, again, we're going to continue to have these problems if we don't do something about these overloaded trucks. I would suggest that we get portable waste stations and put them out there and stop these trucks and make them all go legal. And again, if they are not in compliance, we fine them. And that's a way to generate some revenue there so we can then repair our roads and bridges that they've destroyed. So anyway, so that's all I have for right now. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else wishing to address the board at this time? Anyone else? All right. Concluding our second public comment portion, we do have a request for an executive session. The purpose is personnel employment. There will be no business to be conducted afterwards. May I have a motion to adjourn for the reasons so stated?
So moved.
Second?
Thank you. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.